Hello! This week we're taking a gander around the league, we're checking out some highlights from the week, then we're diving into the occult to see what this season has in store. I'm Frank Spiro. Let's talk basketball. The theme of this week's episode is understanding. Understanding comes in all different shapes and forms. The key to understanding the ancient Egyptians was the Rosetta Stone. Being a quarter of the way through the NBA season is kind of like having a Rosetta Stone for the NBA. By looking at the different teams, players, and matchups, we can see habits starting to form. Some good, some troublesome, and some just downright bad, like the Kings' defense. Earlier this week, the Kings had a defensive rating of over 120, which, if that holds up, will make the Kings the worst defensive team of all time. If that sounds bad, don't worry. Remember that the best defense is a good offense. So what, that's just false? That saying's just blatantly not true? The Kings wore their City Edition jerseys against the Knicks this past week. Yes, it says Sacktown across their chest. And yeah, that's correct labeling for this Kings team. Damn, was that too easy? I felt like too easy. It's like bowling with the bumpers on. Have some respect, Kings. Kyrie Irving is back for the Brooklyn Nets, and things have been rocky early for the Big Three. They lost 2 straight to the Cleveland Cavaliers, led by Colin Sexton, who scored 42 points in the first game and then 25 points in the second game. The losses raised some very real questions for this Brooklyn Nets team. Like, can you have too much of a good thing? For those of you at home saying no, I envy you. Clearly you haven't seen seasons 12 through 17 of Grey's Anatomy. It's not hard to see what's troubling the Nets. In 2 games against the Cavaliers, the Nets allowed 134 points in the paint, which is the most a team has allowed in a 2-game stretch over the last 25 seasons. It seems Brooklyn is suffering from M. Night Shyamalan's cinematic universe syndrome. They were so busy wondering whether or not they could, they never stopped to ask whether or not they should. The Pelicans are making a compelling case for worst team in the NBA right now after losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves without Karl Anthony Towns or D'Angelo Russell. Critics are blaming Zion Williamson's defensive issues and a lack of spacing on offense. But upon further inspection, you could actually see that it's everything. Everything is bad. Earlier this week, the Pelicans had a 3-point shot differential of negative 6.31. Meaning the opposing team made an average of 6 more 3-pointers than the Pelicans every game. If this holds up, it would be by far the worst 3-point differential in NBA history. Number 2, the Milwaukee Bucks in 2015, who sported a 3-point differential of negative 3.96. That's right, it's not even close. That's the difference between flying in an airplane and being at the bottom of a deep, deep, deep well. Though when you're at the bottom of a well, no one can see you, a luxury this Pelicans team doesn't have because they're on national TV every goddamn night. Just let us suck in peace. The new Damian Lillard Adidas shoe is dropping soon. The shoe is in Oklahoma City Thunder colors to celebrate his 50-point game and series-ending shot against them. To me, this rocks. It's like murdering someone, then hooking up with their mom at the funeral. And I love that. Let's get to a highlight. Raptors and Heat are playing on Shabbos night. It was all Raptors early, and more specifically, Norman Powell hitting the 3, then hitting the nice mid-range jumper, then another 3. This would not be the last we heard of Norm Powell. Duncan Robinson answering with the 3, and then Kelly Olynyk putting on the dunking clinic. OG Anunoby off the feed from Pascal Siakam, then Powell with the steal. Takes it all the way, gets the lay-in to go. Spicy P Pascal struggling from 3 but gets that one to go, and then Powell with another lay-in. Kendrick Nunn throws it up to Andre Iguodala with the old man alley-oop, and Fred VanVleet and Norman Powell saying we can do the same. Powell hitting a 3 to end the half, 19 first half points for Norm Powell. Adebayo getting things started with the dunk in the second, then say hello to my little Fred. VanVleet with the mid-range. Adebayo not to be outdone hits another mid-range himself, and then Goran Dragic gets to the rim. It's a close game, but then the Raptors Raptors would take over. Spicy P with the putback, then Chris Boucher with the three. And hey, Norman Powell, when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. OG Anunoby with the steal, then he OG Anunoby beats the defense to the rim for the slam. Heat trying to make a comeback late, Andre Iguodala with the three, then Getty to a Kendrick Nunnery hits the floater. Then the Raptors just went Harlem Globetrotters. Alley-oop there, another alley-oop there, and then Fred VanVleet with a gorgeous reverse. Final score, Raptors 101, Heat 81. The Miami Heat have had a slow start to the season, sitting at 13th in the East with a record of 6-10. But nobody around the Heat seems to be that worried. And that's probably because this team has already proven themselves. I mean, come on! It's Miami! They're good! They've got two white guys, one spicy, one regular, an Eastern European guy to do comic relief, and a grumpy old dude. This team is basically that 70s show. They'll be just fine. While the Toronto Raptors had a slow start to the season, they've picked up the pace as of late, winning 6 of their last 10 games. Part of what's changed for this team is who's getting playing time. The Raptors have reversed course from what seemed to be their offseason plan. They've let go of recent signee Alex Len, and their big free agency signing, Aaron Baines, is getting less and less playing time. The move is a twist of fate for Baines, who started his career in the Australian Basketball League. When Baines escaped Australia, the prison continent, he thought he was home free, but he once again finds himself locked up on the Raptors bench. The bane of Aaron Baines' existence, his warden of sorts, is Chris Boucher. Boucher has been fantastic for the Raptors this season, on offense and defense, shooting over 40% from three and averaging 2.5 blocks per game. Boucher is just the latest Raptors G League project player to hit it big, and he's a great value pickup for them. Or he's great value now, as long as they don't pay him the max. Speaking of Pascal Siakam, he has been struggling this season. Or has he? He's averaging 18.8 points per game, which isn't as much as the 22 points per game last year, but is the second highest of his career. As a matter of fact, Siakam is playing pretty well. He's struggling from three-point range, sure, but he's posting career highs in rebounds and assists. Siakam might just be a pretty good player who has been cursed with high expectations. The Raptors signed Siakam to a max contract in what seemed like a savvy move because they expected Siakam to keep getting better and better. In hindsight, giving Siakam the max is like adopting a turtle, then enrolling it in middle school, and then getting upset when it doesn't get good grades. What are you even doing? Now, many of you know me by my stage name, Jazz Warrior. Don't be confused. This is Jazz vs. Warriors. Jazz versus Warriors! If you haven't heard, the Jazz are the best three-point shooting team in the league, and that was certainly the case early. Royce O'Neal, then Mike Conley again. I've heard of rapper Royce to 5'9", but Royce from three-point line? Royce O'Neal putting up the Jazz 19-2 early. But Steph Curry can do a little bit of shooting too, hits the three there, then another three to bring his team back. Second overall pick, James Wiseman with the turnaround jumper. Donovan Mitchell hitting the Boston Celtics Rajon Rondo fake, then the put-in, then driving to the lane with the fancy dribbles and gets the floater to go. A Curry can cook up a little bit of dribbles too, gets around Rudy Gobert and lays it in. Curry finds Draymond Green for the mid-range floater, and then Green would do a little bit of finding himself, of James Wiseman that is. Steph Curry hits the three here to move into second all-time on the all-made three-pointers list, passing Reggie Miller, number 31, paying homage to him there. But the Jazz had their own form of celebration. Donovan Mitchell getting to the lane, then putting Steph Curry in the spin cycle. Rudy Gobert slamming one home here. Jazz were up 30 at half. If you thought Steph Curry was going to stay tied with Reggie Miller for long, you were wrong. Second all-time alone now. Then Steph Curry getting 3 points in a little bit of a different way. If you're wondering who's first on the all-time three-pointer list, it's Joe Ingles. Okay, not true, but he might as well have been. Ooh, breaking ankles and hitting threes. Joe Ingles is on fire. Only right that the Jazz have a jingle. Final score, Jazz 127, Warriors 108. Draymond Green was ejected last week for yelling at his own teammate, James Wiseman.
And defensively, they've been very good. That's a nice steal by Nerlens Noel. Got another technical foul. If it's on Draymond, he's ejected. He's out. Wow. Draymond is ejected from the game here.
To make this ejection even more ridiculous, during the exchange with Green, you can actually hear the referee referring to Wiseman and Draymond as mommy and daddy. It was weird. This isn't the first time Draymond has gotten in Wiseman's ear on the court. This happened earlier last week.
I told you, if you're open, anyone's going to hit you. You can catch that ball right there and make a play.
I didn't see it.
But you didn't see it. That's my point. Always see the ball.
All right.
Because I got you in open space against Marc Gasol. I like that. You see me? Come on.
Two.
I like that.
Two.
Yeah, that's right. As Draymond shit-talks Gasol, we zoom out and see that Gasol is literally standing next to him. The whole thing is very pretending to fall asleep at a group sleepover, then overhearing all of your friends talking about how weird it is that you ate Play-Doh one time 3 years ago. So you decide to wake up, and then all of your friends are like, oh good, he's awake. Now we can tell him to his face. Yeah, it was Play-Doh, but it was meant to look like a hamburger. It was meant to trick me. I was the victim of an illusion. Calm, Frank. Calm. Take a sip. Is this Play-Doh? Who did this? Who did this? Despite the outburst, James Wiseman looks like he's going to be a really good player in the league. His per 36-minute averages are especially positive, posting 19.7 points per game and shooting 37% from deep. That being said, while he's playing well, it's not necessarily leading his team to winning basketball. Wiseman is posting an efficiency differential of negative 13.3, which means that lineups that involve him on the floor are averaging 13.3 points less than the opposing team per 100 possessions. This is known as the Eddie Redmayne effect, because at first you think, hey, he's doing a great job. But then you think, wait, does this movie suck? And oh no, was that performance actually super problematic? The Jazz beat the Pelicans earlier this week, thanks to a strong 36-point performance from Donovan Mitchell. After the game, though, Shaquille O'Neal had some strong words for Mitchell.
Father, this is Shaq. I said tonight that you are one of my favorite players, but you don't have what it takes to get to the next level. I said it on purpose. I wanted you to hear it. What do you have to say about that?
All right. That's it.
That's it?
All right, that's it.
Okay, cool.
Through 15 games this season, the Jazz have made 248 three-pointers, which is the most a team has made through their first 15 games, ever. To put that into perspective, the 86 Celtics, during a full NBA season and championship run, made a total of 138 three-pointers, 110 less than the Jazz have made through 15 games. And to put that into perspective, in the late Cretaceous period, 85 million years ago, humanoids were only beginning to differentiate themselves from their mammal forefathers, subsequently birthing civilization as we know it. So, 248 three-pointers is a lot. The Jazz are second in three-point percentage and third in three-point attempts, which is an insane combination. I mean, what are you supposed to do about that? That's like being valedictorian and star quarterback of the football team. The Batman and the Joker. Tom and Jerry. You can't be Tom and Jerry, Utah. You're not God. The Lakers and the Bulls faced off last weekend. Zach LaVine, getting things started early, gets the step back to go, then says, God damn it, I'll do it again. Does it again. Anthony Davis gets the slam dunk here. Davis has been struggling to score this season. This game would be a different story. Hits Thad Young with the spin move. That's not to say all he does is score. Finds LeBron James, who slams it home. That's a young man's slam. Kobe White misses the shot, tipped out to LeBron James, who then finds Anthony Davis on the full court pass for the slam dunk. Zach LaVine, trying to keep his team in it, gets the putback lay to go. Then Taylor Horton Tucker going spin move up and under. The Bulls have their own youngin. Patrick Williams gets the putback, then Larry Markkanen with the spin move and put in over Anthony Davis. But here's the thing about someone who's struggling to score. Once they get their rhythm inside, they find it outside. Anthony Davis with a couple of threes. Lakers up 32 at half. Larry Markkanen trying to lead his team back, hits the mid-range jumper here. Then he puts the moves on Marc Gasol. I like you on Marc Gasol. I like that matchup. The rookie, Patrick Williams, P. Will with the three. And P. Will be loved. gets the putback to go there, and then Kobe White with the three. Bulls within 13 now. Can they make the comeback? No! Anthony Davis gets the post move to go, then finishes the Montrezl Harrell feed. Then to top it off, Kyle Kuzma finds Montrezl Harrell for the oop slam. Final score, Lakers 101, Bulls 90. The Lakers have been playing amazingly well, but it hasn't really been because of LeBron James or Anthony Davis. LeBron just had his first 30-point game of the season, which is the longest it's taken him to hit that mark since his rookie year. And Anthony Davis is only averaging 22 points per game, which is about 10 points per game less than I think I would average if I got that surgery where they replaced my legs with pogo sticks. Alex Caruso is shooting 57% from three-point range, which is insane. But he's more than just a shooter. He's also a glue guy in the locker room. Not in the metaphorical sense that it's usually used in. He's literally the glue between guys.
Free throw lines. Sometimes it just takes a little subtle fake. That's all it takes. You get the advantage, and you just get into the lane and mark it in was.
The Bulls are looking pretty decent. After an extremely slow start, this Bulls team has been playing winning basketball as of late, which boils down to a couple of things. First of which is that Zach LaVine has been fantastic this season, posting career highs in points per game and assists per game. That makes him one of the rarest phenomenons in the world. A Zach that contributes to society. The Bulls are also sporting a great bench unit, which is feasting on other teams' backups. As a matter of fact, Denzel Valentine is averaging an insane 18.1 efficiency differential, which is good for the 91st percentile in the league. Yes, the same Denzel Valentine who's also doing this.
Rookie out of Utah State, he was part of that Drew Holiday deal.
And you see Makoka come in and play defense.
Yep. Valentine was trying to get fancy.
Too much muscle on the eye dog.
Yep.
Just get the layup.
Please note, the Bulls are down 30 in that clip. Valentine's high marks come from playing with a great bench unit, which includes Garrett Temple, Daniel Gafford, and Thaddeus Young. If you don't know those players, that's because they're on the Bulls bench, so why would you? That brings us to our last segment, A Look Beyond. We're almost a quarter of the way through the season, and we've made a lot of predictions and guesses about how teams might do, but today we're going to do something a little different. Today we're going to look to the beyond and read some tarot cards. Here to help me is my tallest friend, Brian.
Thanks, Frank. And this is like a fun premise, but we should remember that we're dealing with supernatural forces out of our control. So maybe we should just stick to the guessing and not mess with supernatural.
Brian, are you a little scared?
No, I'm not.
We don't have to do this if you're scared.
No, I'm not scared.
Okay, well look, if you're not scared, I think we should just dive in.
Sure.
We're going to start with the Pelicans. Let's see what fate has in store for New Orleans. First, we have the Two of Cups. Now, the Two of Cups represents a bond, in this case between players. I believe it's referring to Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson being together for years to come. Let's see what's next. The Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is about struggling to hold on to something that you want to keep. I believe that this is referring to Lonzo Ball, who might leave in free agency or even get traded before that. Let's see what's next. Justice. Now, justice in this scenario, I believe, is referring to the Anthony Davis trade. Anthony Davis forced his way out of New Orleans, and it's only a matter of time until justice is served, and New Orleans finally wins a championship. Brian?
Just reach in and pull him out.
Brian, you don't have to do this if you're scared.
I'm not scared. I'm never scared. I'm very brave.
Okay, you're not never scared.
I'm never scared.
I've seen you almost cry because you thought a bee was going to sting you.
Well, that's not exactly.
It was a piece of corn, Brian.
Yeah.
It was on your plate. You were eating corn.
You know what? I'm so not scared that these card pulls will be about me. We're telling my future. So
Brian, you don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Not scared at all. Let's do it. The Fool. Who's that about?
Okay, well that could be about anyone. You know, tarot cards can be about other people in your life.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily about you.
Yeah, like so many fools. Everywhere is a fool. The whole world's a fool. So That could mean that doesn't mean anything at all. So just rando.
Okay, well, let's see what the next card is.
The Fool.
Wow, I didn't know that there were two fools in this deck. That's kind of interesting.
What does it mean? Do you have the book?
Okay,
what does the Fool
book.
mean?
Let's see. Okay. Fool. Here we go. In many tarot decks, the Fool is a ragged, shoeless vagabond with an unruly beard.
Well, I have shoes. I just forgot them today.
The Fool card is associated with folly, mania, delirium, and madness.
It could be that's anybody. It's so many people.
Those aren't about you.
Yeah.
They could be two separate fools in your life.
Okay, final card.
Can't be worse than these two.
Death.
Actually, Brian, the death card isn't necessarily bad. It could mean the death of something negative in your life. Is there anything you'd like to let go?
Yeah, I mean, there are like a million things I would love to kill about me, so.
You know what? Let's just clear the board. Let's just clear the board right now. Start over, start afresh. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Let's wipe it clean.
Okay. For the next team, we have the Washington Wizards. Let's see what fate has in store for Washington. Upside down strength. Now, when a tarot card is upside down, it actually means the opposite. I believe this card is referring to the weakness of the Washington defense. They're 29th in the league and only getting worse. Next, we have the Tower. The Tower refers to ambition leading to failure. I believe this is about Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal in the backcourt. Now, they clearly have a very high ceiling, but so far this season, their floor has been very low. Let's see what we've got next. The Two of Swords. That refers to a crossroads. For the Wizards, that crossroads is whether or not to trade Bradley Beal. If they do trade him, they need to start tanking. But if they don't trade him, they need to start winning a lot of games quickly. And I'm just not sure that's in the cards. Brian, what do you think?
I think I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it about me again.
Oh, Brian, don't do that, man.
It's okay because we already cleared all the spooky cards.
Just do an NBA team.
There's nothing to be worried about, Brian. There's nothing to be worried about. So it's just tarot cards. It's fine. And sometimes fortunes are real and you're dealing with very evil forces, but sometimes it's just a fun game you're playing with your friend.
Okay, it's an act of hope. I can get behind that. Let's see what the cards have in store for you.
Death.
Wow, okay, death.
But this one is pointed at me. So as you were saying that when it's pointed away, it means the opposite. So what does it mean if it's pointed, if death is staring you down?
Oh, that means we need more context. You know what? That's exactly what it means. We need more context. Let's see what the next card is.
Am I going to die?
Oh, I don't think that just seems like you're jumping to conclusions.
I just don't
Brian.
even know why we did this. We could have just been guessing.
No, okay, you know what it is? It's that two deaths in a row cancel each other out. Yeah. They cancel. Two deaths mean life. This is good.
It's just very spooky.
Let's just see.
It's not even the same design.
I'm sure it's not personal, Brian. It must have gotten mixed up in the tarot card store.
It's just a plain piece of paper with the word death on it. Oh. It's not even a card.
I'm sure it's just a note that got mixed in.
Do you think it's a common thing, like a supernatural writing of death?
I'm sure this happens all the time. Brian, this has absolutely nothing to do with you, man.
I don't want to look at it anymore.
Okay, that's been Looking Beyond. Thank you so much for watching. That's our show. These are the people who helped me. Please thank them. Shout out to TikTok user at Ben_Cornbag, who finished our joke last week. JJ Redick and Duncan Robinson walk into a bar, and then they get kicked out for recording a podcast too loudly. Thank you, Ben. No response game this week because there's a big announcement. We're moving to 2 episodes a week next week. So look for us on Tuesday and Friday, 2 7-minute episodes. We hope to see you there. Thank you so much. My name is Frank Spiro. This is Let's Talk Basketball. See you next Tuesday. Ta-ta!